was experiencing my alopecia with me, myself, and I.
I never would have thought it would take out your whole head.
And gobs of hair, like coming out in the comb.
Often looking in my mirror and telling myself, you are ugly. Like trying to convince myself that I was not attractive.
I hated that you had to deal with that. Seriously, I could almost cry now.
Tell me you wanna ride, you want me by your side. There ain't no other lover that can make it smile.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki Montea. If you've been here before, hey, and if you haven't, what's up? We are getting into my alopecia story today, and honestly, this is a get ready with me, girl, but I have absolutely nowhere to go. It is Friday at like 6:30, and I want to be in the house, so we're gonna be in the house. We're basically getting ready for me to take off this makeup, because the moment that I get done talking to y'all, I'm getting a micellar water and I'm taking this makeup right on off. But I needed to be doing something while I talk about this, because I don't know, something about it still makes me a little uncomfy. I am going to go off camera really quickly because I know that I can't talk while I do my brows. And we're back. So I actually had alopecia since I was like 9 years old. I was diagnosed like around that time. Alopecia areata occurs when the immune system attacks hair follicles and may be brought on by stress. That's exactly what I was told when I was 9 years old, that it was because I was stressed. So there are a lot of different types of alopecia, and I feel like I get this question often. Random comments of people saying, "Why are you pretending like you have alopecia when you just shave your head?" No, babes, let's rewind now. I actually have it, bro. But I can understand that people probably view alopecia as people that don't have hair anywhere. They don't have brows, they don't have underarm hair, they don't have hair anywhere across their body. That is not the type of alopecia that I have, babes. I have alopecia areata universalis. That's such a long word, but it means that you have alopecia all across your body. But my alopecia, I am spotty. Wherever I grow hair is spotty. Like I could pull up my leg and show y'all I am spotty all over my leg. I shave because I don't like the spotty look. I would prefer to just be completely bald. Sometimes my hair grows back, but right now you can see, and excuse the nick because I nicked myself shaving my head today. I don't have hair right here. My hairline starts right here. I have one little strand that grows every once in a while right here. I don't have any hair across my edges at all. That stopped growing back mad long ago. So now that we know what alopecia is, let's get into like how I got it. My cousin, she like did my hair until I got to the age where I learned how to do my hair myself. She did my hair throughout my entire alopecia experience. I'm actually, let me just call her real quick. Girl, now she not answering the phone for me. I can't recall how quickly my hair went away, but what ended up happening was I had to transition into wearing wigs, because at first I think I was wearing like bandanas because I was spotty, but I was still wearing braids. How did I look back? What were we doing that for? My hair is spotty. Why am I pulling on it even more? But I was wearing bandanas, and I would get in trouble for it at school because we had like a no bandana policy, which, okay. I would actually get in trouble. My teachers would tell me to take off my bandana and in the middle of class, to the point that my mother had to come up to the school and like go off on somebody. Then I had to transition into wearing wigs. And my wigs came from Hair Club for Men. I don't know if y'all know what that is. I remember there used to be a ton of commercials. I will say that my daddy had alopecia. He was bald every once in a while, like when he would get stressed, but he never like fully lost his hair. My grandmother also had a little bit of alopecia. She said that she got spots every once in a while, but she didn't lose her hair either. She still has her hair. For me, I think that like when I was younger and I heard that, I was like, oh, that's not gonna be around for that long. Lies and deceit, lies and deceit. Like I said, a wig from Hair Club for Men. I think essentially they gave my mother the wigs for free. This is a picture of what the wigs look like. It was like the tight bangs, not the bangs. I remember thinking that those wigs look so natural, bro. I thought that wig was eating. I thought the girls had no idea. Cousin does hair. She would like do 3D twisties. Y'all remember the 3D twisties? I made the best out of my situation, right? I ended up getting steroid shots in my head. I would get shots every 2 weeks or every month. My head, on my sideburns. I think I got them in my eyebrows once. Girl, the sideburns. I hated getting shots in my sideburns, bro. I don't think that I allowed myself to deal with what it meant to have alopecia at all. Once I found out that I had alopecia, it was just mute. Look around, everybody on mute. It was mute. See, at that age, I have no idea what it means to process emotions. Real brief interruption. I was not processing my emotions as a kid, and that caused me so much harm and damage for years, okay? And I wasn't taking care of myself. And as I got older, I started to really crave talking to somebody because I hadn't done that at all before. Instead of going to a therapy session in person, which is what I do now, y'all know I don't miss a week. I go every week. For that, I was a little nervy to get in person. I met with somebody virtually, we texted, and that was my first experience with therapy. If there's something that's interfering with your happiness or accomplishing goals, and regardless of if you have depression or anxiety, y'all know I go through my little moments, or even if you're just a human on this earth, like, it is hard right now. I'm telling y'all, therapy has changed my life, and that is why I am so excited that BetterHelp is sponsoring today's video. Slap it up for your girl. BetterHelp's mission is to help make therapy more affordable and accessible. Finding a therapist is hard, girl. It took me so long to find my therapist. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it is online. All right on your phone, girl. All you can do is fill out a few questions and BetterHelp can help match you with a therapist in just a few days. There is a link in my description, y'all. It is betterhelp.com/NikkiV. Clicking that link helps support me and this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so that you can connect with a therapist and see if it is right with you. I wish my therapist gave me 10% off at least 1 month. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't fit with the therapist, which is so common, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost. You ain't gotta worry about insurance, nothing like that. When I did my virtual therapy session, it opened up the door for me to understand what therapy is, what the process looks like. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy at BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/NikkiV. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring your girl, okay? And let's get back to the video. Hello?
Hey, look you.
Filming a video right now. I'm in the middle of filming. And I'm talking about my alopecia situation. You were the one that found out the spots and all of that, right?
It was your mama that told me. Your mama was like, how come you didn't tell me you saw a spot in the kitchen? And I was like, a slit? I thought you were stitches in the spot. So I was like, I always braid over it.
Yeah. I thought it was like in the middle of my head. Where was it?
It was on the side, like a slit.
Really?
Yes, it was not a lot at all. I could cover it up with the braid. I always covered it up because I'm like, I'm sure she don't want this showing. But I never would have thought it would take out your whole head. Then I started to feel bad that I didn't tell your mom because I felt like, what if I could have been the person that told her quick enough that
Yeah.
I wanted to like protect you. I had a little guilt, you know. Only time I have ever fasted in my life, when I was in the 10th grade, and I did not tell nobody. I had asked grandma, like, how do you fast? And I fasted, and then that night, your mom called my dad and was crying, and she was like, oh my God, Nikki has hair all over her head. She said it was little baby hairs all over your head, and it was not no spot. She had like, it was like a little afro, curly type of hair.
I don't remember that at all, bro.
Oh yeah, I will be doing your hair. Remember them twisties? So that's when your hair grew out. Cause I got pictures of you with the twisties. Cause eventually you had started wearing them wigs where you was putting like tape on it. It was like double-sided.
Because you used to do them wigs for me. Because I remember when you did the wig for my birthday and it was the bang and the sculpture twisty. And I thought they looked so real. I thought nobody could tell me nothing about that wig.
I thought they did too.
It was a full lace though, wasn't it?
It was, but it wasn't the quality of the hair.
Yeah.
That it is now.
Found out that I had alopecia. I didn't take the time to process it at all because obviously I'm a kid. But when my mother found out that I had it, I remember her crying on the floor. That sounds so dramatic, but like, that's what it felt like for me. It felt so dramatic. It was like, what is going on? I don't think that I even knew what was going on. And I remember her crying and I'm like, what is happening? Do I have like a disease? Like, what is going on? And at that point, I had comforted her. How did you feel like I was handling being told that I had alopecia?
Very well. You were exceptional. I do recall one time I washed your hair and I was combing your hair, you know, to braid it in parts or whatever, and gobs of hair was literal gobs. Not just one time, 2 times, 3 times of hair was like coming out in the comb. And I sat there, didn't want you to see me, and the tears were just flowing. I just cried and trying not to alarm you. But of course, you know, you knew this girl back here is crying. And you said to me, Mom, don't worry, it's all right. God is he's got a bigger plan for me. That's what you said. And then, of course, that made me cry even more. Like,
it was elementary school and middle school. I felt the most pain from it. I will never forget that, like, I had to leave school often to go and get shot. And I would come back in the middle of class. I was walking down a hallway one time and one of my friends saw me in the hallway and she asked me, what is that in your hand? Like, I think I had like my steroid pills in my hand because I was getting steroid shots, but I was also taking steroid pills to like try to help with the hair growth. She was like, oh, what's going on? Like, blah, blah, blah. And this was my first time really opening up to a friend. Like, I was like, oh, I genuinely know that it probably wasn't just us in that hallway at that time. That moment, when I think about it, like, it just felt like it was just me and her. And I remember her coming up to me and approaching me like, what is this in your hand? And it was like medication. And she was like, what do you have all this medication for? Like, what is this? I have alopecia. And I said it and she was like, what's that? And I told her what it was. And that was that. Time goes by and the whole class thinks that I had leukemia. That was so much because I had no idea what leukemia was at 9 years. I probably was like 10 at that point, but I had no clue. I told her that I have alopecia and now the school thinks that I have leukemia. What is leukemia? I have no idea what leukemia even is. And I just felt so betrayed. I think that that is where the fear of like telling people and why like I sort of deal with that now, that I have alopecia, or being comfortable being involved in front of people, because I had like that feeling of betrayal in that moment. And of course she's young, she has no idea what's going on. Like, no shade to her or whatever, like she was a child. I remember my mother getting on the phone with her parents rectifying the situation, and like that's still my friend to this day, so like it's no shade at all. But it was a lot to deal with. Felt like whenever I talk to somebody, and this is why I'm really big about this now, if you meet me in person, I will never look anywhere else but in your eyes. And I will be looking at your eyes hoping that you're looking directly at me in the eyes, because I remember like feeling like everybody is looking at the top of my head to see my wig or see what's going on up there. Like, that drove me nuts. I've had my experiences. I wouldn't say like bullied, but I was talked about. I got told that I was like bald eagle. What was it? The Jesus Christ movie. I can't remember what it was. Passion of Christ, not Jesus Christ movie. I think I was like struggling to like have a lot of eyebrows at that point. People were calling me Satan. I was told that that's what I looked like. I was still holding on to the fact that maybe I would have hair, maybe I won't. At a young age, I think that mentally, I tried for it to not affect me, but I think it did. I didn't talk to anybody about it, tell anybody how I felt about it. I didn't really cry about it. I think that I just tried to like accept things as they were. During a time when I was in elementary school or early middle school, and I remember often looking in the mirror and telling myself, you are ugly. Like, I remember repeating that over and over and over and over and over again, trying to convince myself that I was not attractive. I have to learn to accept that and move on. I think that that's why I like struggle with getting compliments now, even because I have spent so many years convincing myself that I am not attractive. But when people tell me you're beautiful, blah, 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 I have a really hard time of believing that. And I'm a sensitive girl, okay? I'm very sensitive to this day. I could cry right now if I wanted to. My cousins would really like have my back. They would have my back. Anytime somebody would say something to me, I would just run to them and say, babes, handle that.
I remember you not being so secure about having to wear wigs or just your hair in general at such a young age.
You would only let Dory and your mama see your hair.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have to get out of the room when you were...
I did not know that until my mama just told me. I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember that. You didn't want anybody to see your hair except for Dory and your mom.
What about me wasn't secure? Like, what do you feel?
I think you were emotional about it. I feel like you used to cry about it. I think I recall some kids in your class won't say their name because they're losers now. They might be watching this. But they don't know who they are. Some kids were like making fun of you about your wig, and that hurt your feelings. Kenyatta or myself, I don't remember. It probably was Kenyatta. I do remember taking those wannabe bullies at school back in the day on the bus. And it was never like we were coming up to me saying like, oh, they were talking about me. We would just see you crying or something, or looking like you about to cry. And then that was it. That's all I need, to point them out. I think as people became more aware that it was a hair condition as opposed to you just wearing wigs for fun.
Yeah.
They became a little more lenient or a little less harsh when trying to bully you about it.
We were, you know, kids, and you had to wear bandanas, and some of the kids wanted to, why she gets to wear a bandana and we don't?
Right.
But we grew up in such a small community, really. Everybody went to the same elementary school, the same
high school,
so
yeah.
as it got older, I think that it kind of went down a little bit. The people that you've been knowing since 8. I remember following a girl home from the bus. We got off the bus and I followed her home. And I guess in that moment, maybe I became the bully.
Terrible.
Her mama came to my mama's house right after that, and I was like, looking dumb because I done followed somebody home.
And I would like stay to myself. I was a loner. I stayed in my room. I'm still a loner, girl. Still. I'm still here. I didn't like talking to people because I felt like if you give somebody the chance to talk to you, you're giving them a chance to talk about you. I was gonna stay to myself. I started to gain a really close relationship with God. Like my cousin talked about, she fasted. I would fast by myself too. From my younger years, I would say that like my hair fell out when I was 9 years old, slowly, progressively, like started to fall out. And then it grew back. I was wearing braids. I still like had a little bit of hair. I was wearing braids and I was wearing my bandana, and then I had to transition to the wigs that I got from Hair Club for Men. After that, oh, I didn't even mention, there was a lady that we ended up seeing, and in order for the wig to fit properly, she said she had to cut my hair. She said she had to cut my hair. And who was the lady that ended up cutting my hair?
She was also dealing with alopecia, and she had developed a unit where she called it like a vacuum suck, and when it went on her bald head, it would like...
Oh, she had a new wig. This was before we got the Hair Club for Men wig.
Right.
And we tried her wig.
Very expensive also.
How much?
About $800.
And how much did you pay for the Hair Club for Men? Free?
That was free. But because you were so young, I think I hated that you had to deal with that. Seriously, I could almost cry now. Shut the camera off.
I was very spotty at that point. I vividly remember this moment, bro. I was spotty and she braided my hair up and she said in order for the wig to fit on better, I would have to cut your hair. I was holding on to that hair down bad, okay? And I cried my little eyes out when she took them scissors to my head. She braided my hair up in 2 little pigtails because at that point my hair was very thin and it was very spotty, and she put it in 2 little pigtails and she... Girl, like now that I'm grown, I know that you didn't need to do that at all. Like you didn't need to do that at all. I cried boots, bro. I cried down.
She prepared us and said, we're gonna have to cut your hair. And you started crying, but you knew because I was telling you this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna get here and she's gonna do this. Then the only thing that you had was, this is an asparagus. You maybe had like 2 or 3 of these, the top of your head, 2 or 3 of these. That was all you had on the top of your head. And when she cut it, it was like she was cutting the life right out of you. And I saw you break. You were boo-hooing. It was like horrible to watch you do that. And of course that affected me because I felt like, what have I done? Even though it was just this. But who am I to say what's enough and what isn't enough? This was your journey.
Yeah.
But it was very touching and very emotional for all of us. But then she pulled out the unit and you loved it. And it was like, oh, this is beautiful.
And I kept those little 2 strands and I kept them in my drawer and I was like holding on to them. I think I got frustrated one time with the idea that like I probably will never have hair. Like I was like frustrated and I just threw it out. Like I didn't understand why I was keeping it, so I just threw it out like a little bit later in life. But I kept on to that hair for a long time. Like it was like those 2 braids and I kept it. And I would like hold it every once in a while. I was like, dang. Girl really took my hair. Y'all, I had to take a pause because I was hungry and that lighting over there was driving me nuts. And I'm actually about to take this makeup right on off. I told you, get ready with me to take this makeup off. We start to think about the older years. High school for me wasn't that significant because my hair started to grow back in high school. And I didn't really have any issues with high school at all. Like I was wearing sew-ins the whole part of high school. I didn't wear a wig at all. I didn't start reintroducing wigs again until post-college. I actually had a YouTube video mad long ago. You're not gonna find any content because I didn't delete it, but like I hid the video. I ended up making a video about my alopecia. After making that video, I cut my hair. I didn't like shave it, I cut it. After that, like I learned how to make wigs myself. So I had bought my first wig. I bought my first wig from Freedom Couture. I paid $1,200 for that wig. That was a bit much for me. Literally went Edward Scissorhands on that wig. Like after I got it and like I wore it out and I wore it for what it needs to be worn for, I went Edward Scissorhands on that wig and I said, I'm gonna figure out how to make a wig myself because I am never paying $1,200 ever again. Cut up the wig and I sewed it back up together and I created a new wig. I'll insert a picture of that. And so I was feeling confident about that, but I wasn't still not feeling confident about who I was and like this part of me until my hair like started to come out even more again. And it was just like so much of the back and forth. I used to run all the time and I would have these emotional runs where I would like cry while I'm running. Like I love a good emotional run. Right, one time like crying about my hair, not feeling comfortable running outside or like having to run with a wig on just felt like so much, you know what I mean? I came back home, I grabbed some like big razors. I looked up some YouTube videos. I was seeing a bunch of white men talking about it, you know, how to cut hair. I sat and I figured out how to cut my own hair and I cut my own hair and I did it once, but I didn't do it again. Then I moved to New York and I was like really good at making wigs at this point. I posted on my Instagram, I was like, I'm gonna embrace like cutting my hair. Like, can somebody teach me how to cut my hair? I was like cutting the wrong way, like going back and forth like this. And I was gonna cut myself as I did. My cousin's husband, Will, told me to come over. We were doing like a family barbecue at that time and we went upstairs and he taught me bit by bit like how to cut my hair. He told me, get this razor, get this shaving cream. He literally sat with me for like, I think we were up there for maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And he taught me everything, which direction to go, like how to do it. And that was like a game changer for me because I started to consistently, like not consistently, but like probably like once a month, I was cutting my hair. It was really when I moved into this apartment, which was like 2 years ago, where I started to cut my hair more consistently. And like, I challenged myself for the first time to go outside for the first time without a wig on my birthday when I went on a solo trip and I was in Mexico. And I was like, I'm out of town, thugging with my rounds. I'm by myself. I should be able to like have the confidence to walk outside without a wig and like go out. It takes a lot for me to get comfortable in that, to like own that, you know what I mean? Usually if you see me outside without a wig, I am most often out of town. That's my story. I hope y'all like got a lot out of that. And like right now, like I said, I'm still like working to find that confidence. Obviously, like I'm older and I feel like at this point, like girl, you gotta move on. Like accept for who you are. People like you, this version of you. They've told you that many times. I just have to learn how to accept it for myself because other people could be telling you that you're beautiful, but like if you don't believe it for yourself, none of that matters. Like y'all comments are so nice and so wonderful and like they literally like be bringing me to tears a lot of times, and like the messages that I get, like it really like makes me feel good. But at the end of the day, like y'all can say you are pretty, y'all love your hair, y'all have you have the perfect head shape a million times over and over and over and over again. But if I don't believe it, then it's not gonna move me in any way. I have to believe it has to resonate with me on my own. My mama asked me this question.
If you could go back where you are today and go back to your 9, 10, 12-year-old self, the kid that was in middle school being teased, what would you tell yourself back then?
I was thinking like you are beautiful, like all that cliche stuff, but I don't think that, like knowing me, I don't think that would resonate at all. If I would tell myself that it's okay to open up and be vulnerable with people, because I think the fact that I didn't allow you to see my hair, I think that I felt shame, but I felt shame by myself. And I think that I felt alone in my struggle, and I felt alone and I felt like nobody could relate to me, but I wasn't allowing anybody to relate or connect with me because I was dealing with it by myself. When I told her that I had alopecia in confidence, it was my first time telling somebody that I had alopecia. Then everybody knew that I had leukemia and I didn't know what that was. And so that was where that betrayal sort of kicked in, and I no longer trusted to tell anybody anything about myself. So I'd handled all of that on my own, and I would tell myself to let go of that hurt and like allow myself to open up to people, to you, to my daddy, to friends. In the quietness of my room with my door closed, I dealt with it all by myself, and I didn't have to be like that.
Look at you today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Love you.
I love you too, Nikki. I love you.
Bye. And allowing yourself to be vulnerable for people. Yes, you can experience that level of rejection like I did, rumors being told around and like all of that, but you can also experience a moment of connection. Word to my therapist, because she gave me that line a while ago. But you can also experience that moment of connection with people, and like you can feel seen, heard, understood, which is such a huge part, because I felt like I didn't feel that for so long because I wasn't allowing people to like experience that with me. I was experiencing my alopecia with me, myself, and I. I didn't know anybody that had alopecia. I didn't know anybody that like knew anybody that had alopecia because I didn't open up to people. You know what I mean? And I wish I would have done that more, but like I can't go back and change the time. We're here now, and I'm trying to be as open as possible with y'all. I'm so happy that like we are creating this community of women who are going through a lot of different things, not just alopecia, you know what I mean? And like trying to find their confidence and trying to feel comfortable in who you are and your skin. I'm trying, and I hope you're trying to like be as confident and like feel good about who you are, because you deserve love, you deserve to be here, you deserve to feel appreciated, you deserve to feel beautiful, because you are made in God's image, and you are perfect exactly as you are. God didn't give you this for any reason. This was meant for who you are. We all have things that make us uniquely us. And this is one of them for me, among a few other things. Y'all will see me soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.